Welcome, everybody. This is Malik Lenzonzo, and you are on Talk to Me. Tonight is a great conversation, like always. I have with me my brother and partner, Mr. Amvala,
Yes,
Gustavo Amvala El Nino de Oro. How you been
yes.
doing, my friend?
Great. It's been a long time since we've seen each other last, so I'm hoping to catch up with you and all the times. I know it's been a couple of months since we saw each other last, but
Absolutely. Listen, you're gonna have fun tonight because there's a hot topic tonight. You know, I'm a Democrat. I don't know about you, but I
Mhm.
suspect you won. You're a Democrat yourself, because
Mhm.
I cannot imagine you with the crazy people on the other side of the aisle. But I
Mhm.
don't know. Usually, you give neutral
Yeah.
analysis.
I'm a problem
And
solver. Problem solver.
Absolutely. As a problem solver, you usually give neutral analysis, and that's why most people enjoy listening to whatever you give as analysis. So basically, what we're gonna do is to talk a little bit. The question I'm gonna pose you is do you think Governor Cuomo of New York should step down?
Well, I have publicly, first of all, I want to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to express my views, and these are my views only. I've expressed myself publicly. I published on Facebook in Spanish, English, and French that Governor Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, should step down and step down immediately. His family has had a distinguished historical and political legacy throughout New York and at the federal level when he was I think, as transportation secretary. But these situations are not only disturbing, they're alarming because it seems as if there was a petri dish of enabling behavior on the part of the governor and those around him. So I want to, with no equivocation whatsoever, please request that Governor Cuomo of the state of New York step down and be willing to address any and all legal matters, criminal prosecution and civil prosecution that may derive from his actions as published on the part by several women who have come forth with varied allegations of sexual harassment, unwanted touching, and basic crude locker room behavior at the governor's mansion, which to me is both pitiful, sad, and unfortunately not uncommon in today's politics.
Absolutely. Listen, most people still don't understand what's going on, and I think it's fair for us to just to give a little background of what's going on and where the situation is right now. Our reporter, the artificial intelligence, Marcel Mbomo, is going to give us a little bit perspective on what's going on and where are we on this particular issue. And I take your opinion seriously. And let me just play this to give people, a lot of these people who are watching us right now, a little bit understanding of the background of what's going on. And then we can come back and continue to, as a matter of fact, we will be there as Marshall Mbomo tried to give us the background of what's going on with that particular allegation issue going on with Governor Cuomo.
State Democratic Party Chairman J.S. Jacobs, who had stood by Cuomo throughout the months-long scandal, said he advised Cuomo to step down and he refused. In a telephone interview on Wednesday night, Jacobs said he expected the embattled governor to hold a press conference in the next day or so to lay out his views on these allegations. "I suggested this is the right time to resign because I didn't see anything getting better," Jacobs said. "I said to him, the toothpaste is out of the tube, meaning the political support has left and I don't see."
Now, you know what? I think it's best for us to go step by step. This is somebody who's been supporting Governor Cuomo,
Mm-hmm.
and he said that the toothpaste is out of the tube,
Mm-hmm.
and just like you said, it is about time for this man to step down and to address those allegations legally.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you really think this is gonna get better or it's gonna get worse based
I
on
think
this? Yeah, go
I
ahead.
think I'm sorry. I think it's going to actually get worse. But to be honest, I think that the internal and external pressure are going to become so severe and mounting and unbearable that he'll have no other option. It'll get to a point to where it'll almost look like a circus, because you can't have all of these independent voices, people who are loyal Democrats, Chuck Schumer, Christian Gillibrand, all these folks who have a long, rich history. And let's not be naive. There are people who are also enjoying seeing Governor Cuomo go through this. He's had a history of enemies, and as we know in the political arena, it's replete with enemies. And so I'm sure there are people who enjoy seeing him flounder in the wind. But as someone who understands and who has two daughters, I can only imagine what my reaction would be if one of my daughters was in the room with Governor Cuomo. You know, as fathers, we tend to be very, very protective, overly protective of our daughters, sometimes to our own detriment. But in this case, it seems to me that there's been so many gross allegations of really just as a guy. You say, how do you get to this point? And by the way, with all this going on, who's doing the governing? I mean, it seems to me as if he was spending more time, you know, chasing young women or making suggestive remarks and trying to use the quote unquote, oh, Italians. That to me is almost a scapegoat. I know a lot of Italians, and my freshman roommate was an Italian American at Stanford, and he never hugged me. But I know that the women that he did hug, there was never any kind of this behavior. So I'm tired of politicians not accepting responsibility. I'm tired of politicians overstaying their welcome. And in this case, you have a gentleman who's probably been in politics over the last 30 or 40 years. Enough's enough. Enough is enough. You have a great history. You have a great history, and you can do, and he can do other things.
Yeah, I don't know if you did pay attention to the poster. It looks like there was some kind of a back and forth with the governor. I saw that he posted on his tweet. Because the president, the president position was that, you know what, hey man, you need to step down. Just like you did, just like most people, most Democrats, including is some of his strongest supporters. But the back and forth, him saying, okay, you know what, in the past, the president as well have a situation where he hugs people, so he should be stepping down himself. Do you think that's a lack of, taking responsibility, just like you're trying to, say?
Longer in office, and by some, miracle, he was able to get elected, which is also says something about the electoral process here in the U.S. But he was a duly elected president who's now a former president, trying to pass his time golfing or doing whatever former presidents do, in his case, not do. But you can't point to bad behavior in order to justify bad behavior. And I can't see how Governor Cuomo, and let's not forget the role that his brother Chris Cuomo at CNN played behind the scenes. We know that there's nepotism that runs within the political space, within the journalistic space, and I hope that the good people at CNN, with whom I've been a great fan since its founding with CNN's Ted Turner, I hope that they will somehow not allow this to go any further, and that I hope that Chris Cuomo, who I can understand loves his brother as I love my brothers and my family, but enough's enough. There are plenty of people in the state of New York who are qualified, who have the ability to lead, and won't have the baggage that Governor Cuomo has, and frankly, that he should leave at either LaGuardia or Kennedy.
Absolutely. Let us play some more here. Maybe that can give you some more information to continue this analysis on this very important issue of, we have to protect our women, man. And just like you said, when you have a daughter, you probably already have a wife. You have to understand that, the most vulnerable in our society have to be protected, regardless who you are.
Yes.
And unfortunately, people like our former president could use some language that you already know, grabbing somebody for by the PUSSY and still get away with it. But I'm not, I don't support that kind of behavior. Let me play this clip again as we're going further, and maybe we can find more answers to this question of today: should the government Governor Cuomo of New York stepped down.
Him getting it back. The three-term governor, who won an Emmy for his garrulous daily news conferences during the early days of the coronavirus pandemic, became even more politically isolated after Tuesday's release of a report outlining 11 cases of harassment toward women who worked with him. While Cuomo denied the allegations, claiming he had done nothing wrong and vowing to be vindicated in any civil lawsuit, the Speaker of the Assembly has said the Democratic majority believes he is unfit for office.
That is serious, man. If the leadership of the party say you are unfit, and yet you still want to keep going trying to justify what is appear to be unjustifiable right now. What your take on that?
My take is instinctually, this almost seems Trumpian in nature, and I hate to make that analogy, is that you have hard, cold facts as presented by these women who I believe each and every single one of these women are telling the truth. Who would want to put themselves, their family, and their future on the line? So there's power in women, and this is not a Me Too thing. This is a case of a gentleman who, for whatever reason, fell in love with his own media coverage, fell in love with themselves, and breaking news, a narcissistic politician. But this is serious allegations. And what about the children, the next generation of individuals who seek to be leaders? Does he want to be looked upon as being a role model? I think a role model is someone who accepts responsibility. And believe me, I've had bumps in the road in my own life. I accept responsibility. I learn from it. I don't repeat the behavior. I apologize to those who I've offended, and I ask for their forgiveness. Some people accept it, some people don't. But in the end, I know that I've done the right thing. And I'm asking Governor Cuomo, do the right thing for the good people of New York. Do the right thing for the Democratic Party. Do the right thing for the United States of America, which is attempting to rebalance itself after 4 years of unheard of misgovernance. Do the right thing, Governor Cuomo, and don't allow yourself to be commingled with Donald Trump. You're better than this. The people of New York deserve better than this. And I know that you're man enough and your family's man enough to stand by you should you be criminally or civilly prosecuted for this behavior, which on first blush seems to be extremely, extremely disturbing. And I can't see how he cannot at some point be held accountable in the way that Bill Cosby was.
Absolutely. Let proceed with this video.
Several state senators who would decide his fate in an impeachment trial have called on him to resign. Quick take: what to expect in bid to impeach Cuomo as NY governor. Democratic State Senator Todd Kaminsky, a former prosecutor, said he doesn't think the assembly needs to conduct more investigations before beginning the impeachment process, which would lead to Cuomo's temporary removal from office while a trial takes place in the.
So you agree with the fact that we have not enough evidence to conclude that man need to step down.
I believe that wholeheartedly. I think this is political theater, but it's not really political theater. This is an Italian tragedy. I hope, to use his words, I hope that Governor Cuomo, who has daughters of his own, aren't you curious, for those of you out there listening, what kind of discussions are taking place in this war room behavior behind the scenes of trying to prop up this guy? This is a weekend at Bernie's. This guy is politically dead and thinks that he's going to be resurrected like Lazarus. There was only one Lazarus, and Governor Cuomo is not he or him. And so I hope that as we reflect and get ready to go through yet another impeachment proceeding, that we avoid the Me Too comment. And this is just gross behavior on the part of men. And there are some women as well who have engaged in such behavior, but this isn't the time to talk about this. This is a person who is the head of the largest state, the most populous state in the country, who is fashioning himself, I think, positioning himself through these daily press conferences. And we have to also be accountable. He had some issues with regard to COVID numbers and the nursing deaths that seem to have been swept under the rug. That's another issue that still needs to be contended. I've been a fan of Mayor Cuomo. I'm a fan of anyone who does more to help people rather than to harm people. And I think the history of the Cuomo family has been one of public service, dedication, of contributions to medicine, journalism, and politics. But in this case, I think he may have to seek the priesthood and for forgiveness. And I hope that wherever he ends up, that he knows that he'll be accountable and that he has children and grandchildren who will be watching these videos long after he's gone. I lost the audio.
So basically, do you believe the fear here is to believe that since he's been doing so good? I mean, you saw this government during the pandemic, like the Marshall Obama was saying during the Trump administration, he was doing pretty good as far as they are managing the pandemic. Do you think the fear here is maybe the belief that I've done so much good stuff now? If I step down or if I man up and say, you know what, I did it and accept the consequences. Do you think it's maybe the fear that it's going to tarnish whatever good stuff that you've been doing before?
Well, mad props to Marshall and his fine reporting as an artificial intelligence officer. I think that right now it's too late. These are just tragic, and think about it. Women who have an older man, and you're not talking about someone who's 10 or 15 years older. You're talking about someone who could be the father, and in some cases, the grandfather of some of these women that he's approached. Just think of that for a moment. Here's a guy who they claim to, leadership is a lonely venture. Believe you me, I understand the leadership of loneliness, but I also know when right is right and wrong is wrong. And it's wrong-headed, stubborn, arrogant, narcissistic to think that he can play the waiting out game. He's no Donald Trump, nor do I think that he'd aspire to be Donald Trump, but they do share a common background that they're both New Yorkers. And maybe there's something about the water or the air in New York where they think that people can outpost it. But the reality is that we need to move forward for the sake of the Democratic Party, for the United States of America. And Mr. Cuomo, please step down. Audio.
Senate. I do not think they need to see anything more, he said on Bloomberg Television's Balance of Power with David Weston. I think the report from the Attorney General's plenty. A Marist poll of 542 registered voters in the state conducted Tuesday night showed a total of 63% saying he should resign and 59% wanting the legislature to impeach him if he doesn't. Only 12% of registered voters said he deserves to be re-elected, down from 36% in February. The poll had a margin of error of plus or minus 5.5 percentage points. Source: Bloomberg.com. I am Marcial Mbomo. For Gone Digital News Report.
Well,
sad. Sad.
It's very sad, man. It's really, really sad. And everything you said is right on point, as you always, right on point. I think at this point, as a Democrat, all I can say to Governor Cuomo is that, listen, instead of just keep going doing something and something that we all call insanity. You keep doing something, the result would be the same, and you just try to insist on that. We already know the end result will be that no one will be willing to deal with the governor. As you heard the reporter saying, it's the more and more we have evidence. It looks like it seems to be very isolated. So maybe it's time for him just to man up and step down. What are your
body politic? Yeah, for the sake of the body politic, for politics in general, which to me is more about theater and dissension and not about governing, caring about the health, education, and welfare of the people. Governor Cuomo, I don't want to say this, but have you no conscience, sir? Have you no conscience? Think about this. We're in the 21st century. You have a stream of women who have put their reputations and their lives on the line. Look at the asymmetry in power. please, Governor Cuomo, for the sake of my daughters,
Yeah.
resign.
Yeah. Listen, and especially when the commander in chief, it didn't even blink when the question was posed. He just said, it's time for him to step down. So, on behalf of all the friend and the political analysis from Again TV, we believe that it showed for the sake of, like you say, good politics or the image of our party, and for the sake of dignity, the sake of fatherhood. I think it's time for him to just say, hey, listen, enough is enough. Let me just step down. So enough said. I don't know if you have some
No,
words to conclude on
I
that.
think I've said everything I can, and I'd rather use the carbon dioxide for the plants to use during the photosynthetic cycle than talk about Governor Andrew Cuomo. May his beloved father rest in peace, and I had great admiration for his father.
But you mentioned his brother though. You think his brother will do something to protect his brother?
I think that CNN officials have told him to stop talking about it, and if he continues to continue to talk about it or hint about it on the air, I think there should be serious consideration about suspension and perhaps even termination from CNN. And I have no qualms with Mr. Cuomo. I've sent him emails over the years regarding various topics, including Equatorial Guinea. I have no personal animus, but I do have animus with people who think that they're above the law, who don't take accountability, and think that they can spin their way out of sexual assault and criminal activity on its face. That I have zero patience for.
Yeah, I mean, isn't the definition of your body of work when you say you have no tolerance for people who believe they are above the law, and that's exactly what you've been doing, talking about those the dictators in Africa. Now, you're dealing with one for years now, and the reason being that you don't believe a man should be so powerful to the point where it is above the law. That will be our second segment of this conversation here. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to try to learn a little bit about what's going on in Equatorial Guinea with our friend Gustavo Mbella El Nino de Oro. That will be in just 1 second. Well, welcome back to Gen TV. I don't want to call us the best team on digital TV, but
I will then. I will call us that then.
The best team on digital TV. You know what? Let's change gears a little bit. Going from the United States, let's go back to Africa right now.
Yes.
And for a long time, and I respect your words when you say, you know what, you love everybody. You have no particular problem with individuals. But when some people believe that they can be above the law, that's where you come in and put your feet down. So what's going on in Equatorial Guinea? Do you believe that this man is not getting any better? Do you think he should go as well, just like Governor Cuomo?
Yeah. Well, I hope that Governor Cuomo takes note, because he is almost emulating some dictatorial type of activities. These guys don't want to step down. I'm not going to call Governor Cuomo a dictator, but he's getting very close to that in terms of not wanting to step down. That being said, let's turn to a real dictator, Teodoro Obiang. Teodoro Obiang's been in power for 43 years. Matter of fact, August 4th was Freedom Day in the Republic of Equatorial Guinea. It was a day where every year they celebrate the emancipation from the previous dictator, Francisco Macias Nguema. But I look upon this Freedom Day as freedom from the Nguemist regime.
Yeah.
I want to, with great clarity, with great soberness, ask the people of Equatorial Guinea to remain calm during this transitionary period. Things are on the move, and do not believe the hype, the spin, and the fake propaganda coming from the government, the illegitimate government of Teodoro Obiang and his illegitimate son. I want to thank our supporters. I want to thank Gain TV. I want to thank Gabon, Cameroon, and the United States of America for realizing that an end of an era is near, far too long. And should the people of the Republic of Equatorial Guinea afford me and my team, the Federation for Democracy and Justice, the opportunity to listen to their needs, to heal from the trauma, to shore up each other's will, you will find that Teodoro Obiang, his family, if they decide not to leave on their own volition, will be forced to leave.
Well, that's some strong words from my friend Gustavo Mvela. But listen, for many times since I know you, you have clarity of mind, clarity of analysis, and you always try to be on the right side of history. And we all know that there's a lot of sons, daughters of Equatorial Guinea capable of leading the country to prosperity and making that country a more prosperous and more democratic country. So I hear you, brother. I hear you. The fight is something that we always have to continue to call on our friends and allies across the globe, here in the United States, in Europe, and also our diaspora. The African diaspora is today is strong enough. They might don't know that, but they are strong enough to bring the resources together and help make the motherland a better place to be for everyone.
Yeah, so listen, great intellectual capacity that should be used and not abused. We have the diaspora and the people within Gabon and Equatorial Guinea can rise up and show the world that they too matter and count. I love the potential, and I'm there to support it. And I will tell anyone and everyone I know, Africans are intelligent and they've been around for centuries.
If you want to bring science into this, let me just say that we are the original people. Everybody come out of us. That's no question. I just want for us to continue this talking about these issues while we also touch base on what I know you best in is in the area of sports. There's no way we can have this conversation here without talking about sports. And
yes.
You know what's going on during this Olympics. There's been a lot of controversy, and let's just take a minute to a little bit say something about what's going on back in Japan. That will be after this break. Well, welcome back again. I'm here with my friend El Nino de Oro.
Yes.
Talking about politics, business, education, but also sports. But tell me a little bit, what's the updates on Simone Biles and everyone that is winning, some gold back in Japan. I heard that, not that I heard the news on the news. I don't know if you read that the first African American winning a gold medal in wrestling or something like that. Can you give us a little bit of update on that?
Well, the thing about the Olympic Games is that there's always a lot of firsts. And I think Simone Biles showed that she's the first person who could have severe mental health challenges in the midst of competing at the highest levels, take some time off, and still win bronze. Not just win gold, but win bronze. And I think win over the hearts and minds of people that show that in the midst of adversity, you can reclaim yourself, rebalance, and move forward. So I look forward to talking to Miss Biles anytime to let her know that I appreciate her, and I know that my daughters are big fans of her as well. With regard to other sports,
Gus, what does what that statement say to the people that were talking about her as somebody who actually quit the team, quit a teammate, quit the country, she was not feeling good, but still, come back and win a medal
Mhm.
for and represent this country to the highest level. What that statement or wins mean to all of these people that were talking dirty about her?
Well, first of all, I think that she demonstrated the spirit of the games to be able to compete the best you can at this moment representing your country. So I've often disregarded the commentary of people who are sitting in the stands eating popcorn and hot dogs because I imagine that they couldn't perform even in their dreams the kind of act that Simone Biles is. That being said, we have talents, we have gifts, we're human. She demonstrated her humanity. I'm a big fan. She can count me. I'm a proud member of the Simone Biles fan club. And I hope that that being said, that the issues of mental health are not swept under the rug after the Olympics and that they continue to be embraced. But for all the naysayers and haters, these are folks who have too much time on their hands, and maybe they should just go ahead and watch the paint dry outside their house during the course of a day.
I say, they should just sit down and drink some Kool-Aid,
Kool-Aid, yeah.
because of, for the most
American,
part.
no, how about American Coca-Cola? How's that?
Oh man, it's very interesting, and I believe that will be a lesson for the entire country and the world. She displayed not only the spirit of a winner, of a champion, but that was a great lesson for us to understand humanity,
Yeah, and
and
also
to
I also want to
understand that.
remark, if I could, this is also, I mean, for all intents and purposes, this was really a race neutral topic. I didn't really. There might have been some intonations, but this was basically a mental health issue, which we know transcends race. And so, if nothing else, it shows the progress that we have made here in America and other parts of the world. That mental health aspects go across racial lines, identity lines, age lines, economic lines. So I hope that the conversation continues to be narrowly tailored on solutions, on solving these problems, which can be ongoing, but are fixable. And I think as someone who went through a depression my freshman year at Stanford, I can realize that when you have a community of people there to help, it's just anything, you bounce back. If you want to wallow in it, you can. I choose to look for brighter days, and I avoid dark corners of rooms.
Yeah, absolutely. But we have to give kudos to America. When
Yes.
we're talking about news media outlets or any pundits on the TV, it seems that everybody were together to say that that was something that goes beyond race conversation. It was just a human situation, and we have somebody like Simone that is very classy, that put everything in perspective, and and I'm glad that not only she represent this country at the highest level, but she also give us now a conversation, a national conversation, and now it's up to us now to be more courageous to say, okay, the spotlight's over. And now it's up to us now to take this issue seriously.
Isn't it nice to have a common theme where people can rally around rather than people going to their Democratic tribe or Republican tribe? This is an American tribe and an issue of which I hope that we will continue to focus on. And you can count me among one of those who will be an advocate for the mental health and wellness of athletes.
So basically, going forward, I'm just wondering, since everybody now is they're aware that most people suffer from this disease, and including some people who are not too shy to even talk about it. I think this is it's like the open Pandora's box. Now how can we make this conversation continue even after the Olympics? What would be some of the suggestion? I would be happy that folks like yourself, we understand, we've been there, we understand the weight that you carry, and the difficulties and the all that it takes for you to go and compete when you still deal with this kind of issues. I hope in the future folks like yourself be bring on the table to be a part of this conversation that will, shed some light on how can we deal better with those issues of mental health.
I'll be happy to participate in any roundtable discussion here on Gain TV. Once again, make sure you support Gain TV or anywhere. I think it's important for people to speak openly and honestly. Life is too short to be suffering in pain and suffering in silence. If you can get help, seek it out. There's no shame in having a mental health issue. There are people who are around you every day who probably have had issues, but have quietly decided to get them rectified. And there are those people who want to ignore it. I think the denial, as they say, is a river in Egypt. And this is one form of denial that we cannot afford to get swept in the current of.
Absolutely, absolutely, my brother. Listen, we this conversation, when you see the people reacting to the first, when we almost took a lead on this issue when it first came, the breakout from Japan, we literally, went out there and tell like it is. We recognize the issue when we put the question wide open for people to give some answers. And today we'll continue to work on it.
Biden, Kamala Harris, and we'll make this a lead issue, mental health. This isn't some type of talking point. I'm urging the Biden administration and all of its experts, as well as other leaders in the European Union and African Union, please, for the sake of our athletes and the sake of our countries and continents, please make mental health a priority. It's time to bring in people from the dark into the light.
Absolutely. There's no other way. There's no other way to deal with this, and I just hope that from the highest office to the local, because most of these changes also happen on a local level. We really have to talk to governors. It's unfortunate that your friend, Governor Cuomo, won't be a part of this conversation. But the governors, mayors, local officials have to be involved in this, because a lot of changes happen when our local elected official actually, put their hand into work. You have to bring everybody across the aisle to really, really take this issue seriously if we want to see results.
Accountability is important at any level, whether you're talking about sexual assault or dictatorship. Accountability is important. Accountability to the people that you've sworn to protect, serve, and defend.
Absolutely. Well, I hope this concludes our show for tonight. My friend Gus El Nino de Oro, that was beautiful to see you again, like usual, giving us straightforward, perspective on what's going on in the world.
And I want to be straightforward. Please support Gain TV. This is an important vehicle. I say this as someone who is a friend of Malik, but this is a platform that deserves to have global presence, global funding, and global support. And it would be a shame if the people out there thought they could sit on the sidelines. Get into the arena and make sure that Gain TV has a proper support. I'm sold, and I'll make sure that when I'm in Equatorial Guinea, that Gain TV has one of the first exclusives.
Absolutely. Listen, you heard that from the himself. So let us leave that right there. If you want to listen to Mr. Mvela, his analysis, his perspective on Gain TV, all you have to do is just subscribe to our channels. We have a page on Facebook, Global Affairs Network. We also have a YouTube page where you can come and just subscribe. So whenever we have a show like this, very educational show, because you come up here, you're gonna learn some stuff. But be free to ask your question, because I believe me, Mr. Mvela never shy away from any question.
And I don't have all the answers. I'm willing to learn from the audience as well. I come here as a humble public servant in waiting. Please, I look forward to learning from the public, and please support Gain TV. Malik's a good man, and he deserves the shot that so many other people have been given. He deserves his shot.
Absolutely. So Ladies and gentlemen, that was our show for today. We will talk to you next time. Bye bye, my friend.